Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on June 4th, 2022 at approximately 10:17 a.m. PST. Well, just got finished a live recording with Remembering Yourself. So I figured before I get caught up with the rest of things, I would get back and do this. A special thank you to those joining me live. Great questions once again. Okay, when I'm on live, much like when I'm on the ET Connection on Spatial Radio, on the first Friday night of every month, from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Okay, much like there, I answer questions directly in the chat room. I do start off with a definitive topic that I'm working with, and usually that goes for a little bit before I get sidetracked. But the important thing that I'm looking at is at approximately roughly 5 to 12, 5 to 12, 5 to noon on, at roughly 5, now when was August 15th, I think. I gotta go back now and check. But anyway, I've been running my company now and really playing at running it for really since 2007. Okay, as a matter of fact, it would have been August 15th at 5 minutes to midnight. Okay, if I remember correctly. I've been basically playing at it. I have not been pushing things. And it has come to my attention very clearly that it really is time I did so. So, this said, today is all about that. Taking a goal and in this case, taking a business idea that you've got and make it work. Okay. Now, the reality is the only way it's going to work is if you put the functional effort into it. Okay. You can talk to anybody you want, get all the tools you desire in order to get a handle on how to do things properly, how to do them effectively. But that requires talking to somebody that has done it effectively themselves. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Okay. I came back to this world for one primary purpose this lifetime, and that is to remind everybody in existence that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. But it is going to require effort. And the only person and the only entity in existence that can be successful for you is you. Okay? All the tools in the world, all the best tools in the world, are absolutely useless if you're not putting the effort in them. Well, that's interesting. I'm going to change chairs while I'm sitting here because this one keeps feeling like I'm going to fall off. So, and again, it really boils down to this. That wasn't good. Forgot I had those there. But the reality is, if you desire something to work, okay, you're the one that's going to have to put the effort in. See, I get a kick out of this. Brand new chair. Well, brand new a little while ago. But doesn't roll worth a hoot. And this is what has happened in a lot of cases where it comes to quality of service. I saw something the other day, just yesterday. I saw a post on Facebook that was priceless. It shows a bunch of older teenage boys, young adults, somewhere in their late teens, early 20s, all with their hand in an engine, working on a vehicle. And it says, it was somewhere around the 50s or 60s, right? 1950s, 1960s. And it says, this is what kids were doing back then. They were working on engines. They were, building fans. And then it shows the picture below it is kids the same age sitting there on a couch with a PlayStation or an Xbox or something to that effect in their hand. These are the kids today, and they can't even change a tire. Now, granted, I could never change a tire. I mean, I've done it once in a while, but I'm very, very, it's ill-advised. So I just tell people I'm mechanically inclined. Every time I'm inclined, I'll phone the mechanic. Okay, but I've been sitting here with playing with the business. It's time to start pushing it. It's time to start doing what I know works. I've shown people how to take businesses and turn them into going concerns. I've just never taken the time to do it myself. Well, I just came across, I was looking for a piece of, for an article I had written. Basically, it was a summary of the birth of the wolf pack to start working with it. And I just wrote the one for the end of an epic. Okay, so I will be getting back as soon as I get back from lunch today. Like, I'll finish this. Then I've got a couple errands I gotta run. I'll get this one posted by this afternoon. But if you desire something to happen, you have to have 4 things to make it happen. Okay, there's 4 parts to the formula for success. And I mean your success, not mine. Okay, now, this little book, I've shown it to you before. Nope, not that one. This one actually is Believe in Your Business and Follow Your Dreams. Okay, which, by the way, are tools that I personally use. Not as well as I should have. But I think it's kind of like a mechanic. The best mechanics have the worst running cars. It seems that way anyway. This one, Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams. That one contains the backbone of how I turned my life around. And now it's time to put it to use. And again, it's all broken down in here very nicely. These ones I keep really inexpensive if at all possible. Okay, and I'm just wondering, because what am I doing there? There. Yeah, this particular book, including shipping, and I'm going to be changing this on this video. I'm going to be more to the point, making an addendum to it. Okay, the prices listed in my list of books that I've got available are shipping included in Canada and the continental U.S. I'm going to have to go and find out the prices for going to different parts of the world. Okay, so going to different parts of the world may be more expensive, probably is, but I've got to look into it. And like I said, it's time I start running this business, and it's time, if you've got a home-based business, absolutely critical that you start treating it as a business. Okay, and remember, money doesn't care how you feel. It's going to do what it does anyway. Okay, but this particular book, Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams, she explains exactly how I took my life from where it was. Okay. The nice part about it from your end is if you take the time. Now the four pieces of insight that you have to have, and this is what leads to success, in my opinion. Okay, it's certainly what led to success in this. Okay, and what it boils down to is this. Okay, first you've got to have a purpose. Why are you changing things? Why, are you changing them for you, or are you changing them because somebody else said you should? Maybe here's the kicker to it. Let's assume you're striving to quit smoking or quit drugs because somebody else told you you've got to do it. It's for your own good. And let's say they're on the up and up, and you believe they're on the up and up. If you don't have that emotional drive right here, if you don't have that imperative, emotionally speaking, they can talk to you until the cows come home. It's not going to have much of an impact, in all likelihood. Now, you may be one of the lucky few that take the hint and go, yeah, got to do it. Okay. But once you've got that emotional drive, it becomes a viable option. Okay. Now, from your standpoint, That is the purpose. Why are you doing it? And you answer really with the purpose. Answer the 5 W's, and the 1 H becomes an extra thing. But you've got to know where you're changing, what you're changing, why you're changing, who you're changing it for, and when are you getting started. Okay, now how is what we're going to cover here. Okay, but that's the first step to success. Okay, is decide, number one, who are you changing it for? If you're changing it for anybody but you, you may run into snags. Okay, like I decided I was dropping my weight. Okay, now, is my other half happy I'm dropping weight? Certainly. But I'm doing it for me. And the same as while I'm dropping the weight, I decided I was going to change my whole venue, as it were. But I'm doing it for me. But the who is critical. Okay. Then you've got to change and figure out, why are you changing it? And that's a real simple question. The only viable reason I've come across for people changing something in their own life is they're not content with the way their life is. Okay, so from that standpoint, if you're not content with the way your life is, that would be the why. Okay, the trick is that you don't have to actually know where you're taking your life. You don't have to know the outcome. All you got to identify is something you're not content with. Okay, I was not content with my health level because I stopped exercising for 3 or 4 months. I went through a month of absolute agony. So why did I go back to exercising? Because it has worked. Now, when I started back into the exercising, and understand, I don't do an hour's exercise a day. I just don't, unless we count the idea of getting up, walking around, and doing things. But an actual exercise routine takes me about 5 minutes in the morning. Okay. And in just a week, no, just 2 weeks now, I've gone from being able to only bend over enough to touch my knees, okay, to being able to stand there and bend down and curl both my hands so I hit the ground and the floor with both knuckles. Okay, this is what this little bit of a routine has done. Okay, my back, by the way, doesn't hurt anymore. So you've got to have what are you changing? Why are you changing it? When are you changing it? Well, I'll tell you. Doesn't matter when you start. You can postpone it for a week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever. When you actually start is here and now. That is the only time you can do anything. Okay. So when you get to the point that you're ready to actually deal with it, you go into the here and now, and you go, okay, I'm changing it because I desire to. So I'm changing it for me now. Okay. In my case, where it came to the health, that's what I started with. I am now looking at ways of improving my muscle tone. Again, my other half has already made it very clear. She's not worried about whether I'm muscle bound, whether I've got a washboard stomach. Okay. She's worried about whether or not I'm healthy. And she was quite content when she found out I dropped 40 pounds. But it's time, like I'm looking at my business at Inner Voice Enterprises going, okay, how am I going to make this work? And that's what I'm working on. Now, marketing has never been my strong suit. And realistically, I haven't done much looking into it. But this is something I'm dealing with at this point. Now, this last week has been a nightmare because somebody tried hacking my email. They managed to get into my email, but could not get a single thing sent. So, of course, when I found it, I went to Avast antivirus because I had them for years and never had a problem. Long story how that came about, but I installed that and wiped out the problem like that. My email's perfectly safe now, so I'm happy with that. Okay. And of course, I had a week before that, somebody got access to my credit card. Got that straightened out, got that replaced. Now that I've got all of that working properly, it's time to start pushing the business and making it work. Let's face it, I'm 59. I am not going to get any younger. I'm still planning on living another, well, if I get my way, another 80 years. I think it'd be 80. Yeah, about that. Maybe almost 90. I'm aiming to hit 137 at least. Now, if I pull that off, and to me that's still an if, but it is what I'm working towards, because when I was a kid, I came up with 3 goals that I desired to accomplish this lifetime. 3 primary goals. 1, to get off this mud ball. Now, to be honest, I look back on it, and and I've talked to people a lot about the fact I've been abducted. Okay, I've been off world. I've been in orbit. Okay, you don't have to believe me. I'm not here to convince anybody. But I should have told them don't bring me back. Apparently, I didn't do that. So did I attain that goal? Yeah, check 1 off the list. The second goal I had was to find peace of mind. And to be honest with you, I really did not feel that I was ever going to find it. Well, I surprised myself about 3 weeks ago and actually found peace of mind. But the trick to it was this. I kept trying to explain, trying to figure out how to fit in, how to get people to accept the way I was. The key is not getting other people to accept how you are. The key is accepting how you personally are yourself. Okay. And once that sunk in, I attained that second goal, which was I discovered that peace of mind in me. I'm quite content with the way I am. There are things about me that I'm changing. Okay, not the least of which is this clutter back here is being moved. Look, it looks like a stewardess here. Not half as good looking as most of them. But we look down the aisles and the exits are back there. No, that doesn't work well. But I'm removing all this clutter, getting rid of the stuff I need to. Most of the inventory that was sitting over on this shelf has now been moved out to a storage unit. Okay, so do I have that peace of mind? I know where I came from. I know my past lives that I'm documenting are real. I'm no longer questioning, am I losing my mind? I am questioning how people can do things as dense as they are. So from your standpoint, it really boils down to this. Find that peace of mind in your own heart. You've got to come to the point where you accept you as is. I used to have hair all the way down past my elbows. It was all the way down here. And that was just 9 years ago. Of course, the neat part about it is at that point, I was well over the 220-pound mark and climbing. Now, I've dropped off the weight, and no, I didn't cut off 40 pounds of weight off my hair. Okay, I am looking at getting it cut a little more to clear this out of the way, because I'm finding that the hair that's touching the inside of my ears, and I don't mean the stuff that grows there. In all fairness, I haven't looked, so I don't even know if it grows there. But I am looking at getting that tidied up. But no, rest assured, I am not planning on removing the sideburns. To me, that is a way, and that is, at least it seems to be, a way of remembering, just another way of remembering my father. He had sideburns until he started to die. Okay, and when somebody else took care of shaving him and what have you, they took them off. But, the reality of it is, I'm changing things for me. And it's time where it comes to business. If you've got a business or a business idea that you're thinking of, or even a project you've been talking about doing, treat it as a business. This goes for housework as well, by the way. if you look at your house and you're not content with the layout of it, if you're not content with the state of it, if you don't have the energy, to turn around and do all your dishes at once, do a couple. Those little itty bitty bits and pieces will help. Like when I was getting back into the exercise, it started off I could only reach my knees. I did not go, oh, I can't reach the floor, therefore I'm not going to do it anymore. One step at a time. Okay, so you've got to have a plan, you've got to have a purpose, you've got to have a plan, and the plan is very simple. Change everything in your life that you're not content with. Because the reality is, once you eliminate the things in your life you're not content with, all you're left with is a life that you are content with. Okay, and that's the real kicker to it. And so when you do that, when you follow that path, okay, that gives you a plan. Don't worry about where you're heading. Okay, do not put too much worry into that. Okay, absolutely. If you've got an idea, if you've got a career in mind, you desire to become an aviation engineer, okay, you desire to become a doctor, then one of the things you've got to look at changing is anything that is holding you back from attaining that goal. Now, thankfully, and I don't go to doctors much for a lot of reasons, but thankfully there are some out there, because I'll tell you, when I snapped my arm, it really was comforting and really was nice having a doctor that was trained in repairing the damage. Okay. Yes, my healing rate is something bizarre, but you've got to have a purpose. You've got to have a plan. You've got to have persistence. Get that plan in order. Now, something I have discovered, many people talk about 8 hours of sleep. I need my 8 hours. And what I found is most people that are getting 8 hours of sleep, half the reason that you may be sluggish is because you're oversleeping. Now, I know for me, if I get over 6, I'm completely hooked. But here's what I discovered. I got really bored one day and decided to calculate out what would happen if, instead of getting 8 hours a day, you were to cut it back to 4 hours a day without losing your health or your quality of life. What would happen in that event? And what I found happened when I did the calculation, it turns out that if you're not losing quality of life, if you're not, losing your health, you gain a month and a half, roughly a month and a half of living time through the course of a year. Now that's an awful lot of time to get things done. But the trick is not to pick a time to go to bed. Okay, some people will stay up really late. Okay, the trick to success, in what I found, is the massive majority of success, of really truly successful people, successful in their eyes, get up between 5 and 6 a.m. local time. That is the and what happens is, okay, regardless of how you're feeling, get up. Okay, and I cover that in here again. The reality is, the biggest obstacle you'll ever face in life is your own stubborn disposition, your own tendency to procrastinate. But the most successful people seem to get up between 5 and 6 in the morning. Okay, more often than not, that's about where I am. I wonder when I actually got up this morning. I don't honestly know, because I don't think that I actually don't think I started my day off normally. That's at the morning, that was at night. Yeah, I don't recall what time I got up this morning. I was just checking my phone. But pick the time to get up. Whenever you go to bed, doesn't matter. Pick the time to get up. Now, for those of you that have kids, something you got to remember. One of the reasons for putting the kids to bed early is not necessarily that they require it, but you require a break. Okay. Yes, I've heard the stories from people going, well, they're my kids, I've got to take care of them. You absolutely do. But one of the things you got to remember about taking care of them is that you have to show them how to become successful. Somebody wrote in Facebook one day, just about a week ago now, we're not raising children, we're raising adults. And it's the adults that are coming in that are going to have to be taking control of things. They're going to have to take over where we leave off. Now, I'm doing what I can to pass the information I've got on, and I'm doing my best to write it down in physical form. Because here's the kicker with the modern world: we have an EMP pulse, we have a power outage. Most of the information we've got now is on digital and will be lost. Okay, picture what happens if there's a massive problem and all the information you've got is on disk, is on a computer. Okay, what happens if the electronics systems fail? Okay, this is why I'm going back to the old method. Now, yes, it does take trees to make paper. Absolutely, it does. Okay, and it takes something to make ink. I don't know what it is. Okay, I'm not the one that builds them. Will I put them to use? Certainly. But you've got to have the persistence when you pick a direction. Stay with it. You didn't get in the state you're in at this point. Okay, my business has sat essentially dormant. I've played with it. I haven't done a lot with it. Now it's time to start pushing it. Okay. And that's what I'm aiming at doing. So I will be spending today getting that organized, getting a few things out of the way that I have to. But once you've got the persistence and you're going through the steps, now comes the fourth part of the formula to success. And that is patience. You didn't get into your current state, regardless of whether it's a physical, out of shape state. Yes, we get into things overnight. Okay. Bankruptcy, I went through twice at the guidance of a so-called professional. And frankly, I should have paid more attention to things ahead of time. Because when I look back on it, both of those bankruptcies, all they did was made the bankruptcy trustee money. They did not do me any favor because I didn't figure out what I did wrong. And they didn't do any favor to the people that legitimately either loaned me money or sold me something that because of my stupidity, I couldn't pay for. Okay, because of that, the bankruptcy trustee made money. Absolutely. But I will tell you, no matter how deep you are, well, no, that's not true. Depending on how deep you are, going bankrupt is probably not your best move. Can I walk you around it? Absolutely. There is no doubt in my heart at all. I've done it. I am now debt-free. I've now got, instead of one paycheck away from living on the street, I am now almost 4 months before I have to worry. Now, that's sad. Okay. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel because now we really are getting a little more focused here. And now it's time to make your business, your life, work properly. The way I look at it, the thing I've always held with my business is this. The present is your life. The future is my business. Okay, I can see what's coming, what you're up against, and how to get around it. Now, I will come back again tomorrow and talk to you then. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.